Hey guys, it's your girl Kizzy Rock, and yes, Kizzy Rock is my birth given name. Happy Thursday, guys. Happy Thursday morning. Want to say hey to all my subscribers, new as well as season. Got a word for you. Tap in. Happy Thursday morning, guys. So I want to respond to an email from a young lady who deals with a lack of confidence and self-esteem. She said she's been listening to my recordings on that topic, but it seems it just keeps going back to knowing who you are in God and remaining true to your authentic self, where she's seeking more of external things, external tips that she can do. And sis, honestly, the reason why I state knowing who you are in God, etc., because that's the core. That area have to be mastered in order for you to really embrace everything else. See, if you don't know who you are in God, meaning your purpose and your calling, how God uses you, if you are not your true authentic self, meaning you're just not yourself because you're fearful of what other people would say, or maybe you've been in a really bad relationship or marriage that have changed you right to the core of who you were. If you're not that person, everything else is fleeting. So no matter what you put on, no matter what you do, no matter how much money you spend on this, that's fleeting. It's not going to stick. This is why you have people who are walking around every day and they're polished, they're from head to toe. They're from head to toe, but inside they're empty. They're empty. And so I was telling someone this through email the other day. She said she was at a store. She struggles with body dysmorphia. And it's like, again, Satan keep putting so many beautiful women in her face. And I was telling her, she kept stressing how beautiful that this particular woman was. And I said, not all the time, but I'll say many a times, those same women, right? And not just women, men as well, but she was a woman. A lot of these people are very, very empty inside. And this is why you see them almost perfected, because they're trying to overcompensate externally what they're missing internally. And again, that's not everybody, right? Some people have both figured out, but I'm just making a point here that when you see people that you think is so beautifully put together, right? Don't even compare yourself. First of all, compare yourself to no one, but don't compare yourself to that, because you don't know what these people are feeling inside. You're only seeing them for that moment, but when they get home, they're laying their head down, fighting their own demons, and they feel like they're the most unattractive person in the world too. And here you see them as, X, Y, and Z. So that's why I say that, sis. But I hear you as far as the external things. I may struggle in this area because I'm just not that chick. Like, seriously, I may look like that chick who tried to dress or who tried to do this to impress somebody else or impress the outside world. No, honestly, that's just my internal swag. I don't get dressed to look for a person. I don't get dressed to impress a person. I get dressed and I look like me because honestly, it's me. What you see on the outside is truly how I feel internally because it's me. But when I've tried to change in the past to be what people or what someone thought I should be, I completely lost myself. So I had low self-esteem and I had no confidence. So this is why I say it has to be you. You have to be you. But let's talk about some external things. I don't even know. I really don't know, but I have a few things I kind of jotted down. I will also say this really quickly too. Okay, as women in our community, I'm sure men as well, but you're a female. As women, some women in our community, we were taught to always put people in front of ourselves. That can just be other people in general. That can be whoever, right? But you put everybody first and then you get the scraps. You get the leftovers. Well, that mindset have to change, because once you've served everybody else, and I'm not just speaking about serving people who God called, I'm talking about everybody, and you're doing it from a place of, the wrong seeds, rejection, abandonment, all that stuff. So by the time you finish making sure everybody is good, by the time you sit down, you don't even have the energy to try to pamper yourself, right? Everybody else who you serve or whatever, they're perfection. You've done the job to perfection, yet you're sitting there with 4 broken nails, right? Sewing that done been in there since last Halloween, right? This is true. This is true stuff, seriously. And this is why it takes a change perspective, because I can give you a whole list of things, I guess, to do externally, but if you don't feel like you matter, if you don't feel like you deserve these things, it's not going to stick. You may do them for 3 days, but the perspective have to change, that you deserve to be pampered. You deserve to put yourself first. Right? So you got to get some of that weight up off of you. So you might be burdened down with so many things, and some of these things are not even your own things, right? Or you may have a lot of responsibility. You may have 35 children. Okay, you may need to get up an hour earlier than what you're already getting up, and it will most likely be a sacrifice, but it's about trying to create a balance and a space in your life that's going to give you time to put yourself first. So you may not want to change anything in your life that you're putting first now, but just create some time prior or somewhere in your day or in your week to just take that day specifically to pamper yourself. Because when you are feeling heavy and burnt out and tired, the last thing you think about is trying to pamper yourself and make yourself look pretty. You're tired. You're tired. Lord knows I've been there. Jesus. Oh, just tired. And it's not even all your stuff. So your perspective have to change, right? Some of you who are being called to kingdom marriages and kingdom partnerships, you will feel like God is really pressing this thing upon you now. It's almost like you may have had self-esteem and confidence issues in the past, but it wasn't like a pressing to start working on it, but you will start to feel a pressing that God is going to start saying, okay, start eating better, start doing this, start blah, 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 to start going to wherever. I want you to get yourself together. And that's because, one, men are visual, but we're not saying you're doing it for men, but it is what it is. It is what it is. Men are visual. That doesn't mean men like the most beautiful woman in the world, but he needs to see your best self. Not you comparing yourself with the next chick, but you, me, right? Our best self. And then if you're not solidified in your confidence and your self-esteem, listen, that partnership, that relationship, that marriage, it's going to last 2 seconds, literally 2 seconds, because you're not solid in your confidence and self-esteem. So like, okay, first of all, kingdom partnerships is about doing kingdom work. So that means God is going to expand things. God is going to expand the volume of people you reach and all that stuff. So now you got to worry about every beautiful woman that walks by, like, oh, I know you're looking at her because, child, nobody got time for that. Nobody got time for that nonsense. We're supposed to be doing kingdom work. Why am I sitting here looking at the next chick like, oh, I see she walked by. I see you looking a little too long. Or do you want her? I guess she's prettier than me. That ain't happening. Nobody got time for that. The world is crazy. We got work to do, right? So you got to be solid where whoever God brings to you, right? You're talking about kingdom partnership. These are people that God sent. So it's going to be authentic. It's going to be pure. I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, but it is. It is. So God is not going to start bringing certain things until we master certain areas, because we're going to ruin it. And God is not going to give you anything. Trust me, I've learned this. God will not give you anything until you can handle it. You can think you're ready. You can think you want it, but God will not. You can cry. You can cry till your head fall off. God will. Why did I just see a bobblehead pop up in my head? Right. God will not give you anything until you're ready. So, sis, I'm sorry. I got to go back to the core. Knowing who you are in God. How God uses you. Seeing yourself the way God sees you. And again, ask God to give you grace to see yourself the way he sees you. Right? Making sure you are your authentic self, going back to the core of your authentic self. Right? Third, knowing that you deserve to be treated great. Knowing that you deserve it. Knowing that it's a requirement. Okay. All right. So let's talk about a few, because I really don't have a lot, honestly. A few, I guess, things that we can do. Listen, I know we were raised up on, certain type of foods and things like that. We can go on with the list. We were raised up on a lot of stuff. In truth of the matter is, you yourself may not even have a lot of information on eating better, and it's because you're the chosen one. So God may be tapping you. Hey, I need you to really start researching, because I need you to put everybody else on, or even if they're not ready to come on to the train, I need you to start doing certain things, because I'm using you to change the trajectory of your family, right? So sometimes you think you should see a change, like a physical change, but sometimes when you go against the grain, it's really a spiritual change. So even if it doesn't hit the people that you're looking at every day, it'll hit somebody else. You just do your part, but do it for you. Start eating more healthy, right? All these sodas and stuff, right? I haven't had a soda in like 4 years, but let me say, I had a Sprite the other day. You know how you put the sodas in the freezer? Let me just tell you, right? So I stopped drinking sodas a long time ago. Now, I am a stickler for sparkling water. I will drink sparkling water all day long. I love sparkling water. Just Google healthy recipes, right? Because truth thing is, sometimes you can eat the same food you're eating. It's more about the things that can be substituted within that meal. Say, for example, something called for mayonnaise. First of all, I hate mayonnaise, right? I'm a mustard girl, but you can use Greek yogurt in the place of the mayonnaise. And I'm just giving one thing, but you will start Googling things like that, right? And you're not doing it based for, well, let me take that back. Maybe you want to lose weight. Let me say this. If you want to lose weight for you, right? If you're honest with yourself, you don't feel great at that weight. Do it for you. But if you're 600 pounds and you really, you're not masking it, you really love being 600 pounds, do you, my 600 pound life? Do you? See, that's the whole point, meaning being your true authentic self. So if you love being 600 pounds, sit there, marinate there, and don't let anybody shift that thinking. But if you really know within your own internal being and you're insecure because you want to, then you got to really start to work on things. Next thing, working out is not easy. So if you're not a person who likes the gym, because some people who are more heavy, they feel like people are looking at them, if you will, in the gym. Like I don't like the gym. Now, here's what I love about the gym. I love strength training. I love lifting weights, right? So that's what I love about the gym. I dislike cardio, unless it's the elliptical. I dislike cardio. I don't know. I'm ADHD at times, so just sitting on the treadmill, I ain't got time for that, right? So go walk in the park, right? Go hiking. Go indoor hiking. There's so many things that you can do to become more healthy and become more fit, and it doesn't have to relate to a gym. So start working on your health, your eating habits. There's so many healthy recipes out here. If you just Google YouTube, everything's your best friend in that area. Next, if you have skin issues, there's a lot of people have like acne and things like that. Sometimes people like to say things like, I don't have the money for this. And well, it may be a sacrifice, right? You can't go to Starbucks every day during the week if you want to save up to, say, make a dermatology appointment, right? If you suffer from like acne and things like that. I thank God that's one thing I've never suffered with. What I do suffer with, I have very, very sensitive skin. If you guys notice, I don't wear like a lot of jewelry. Things that just really irritate my skin, and I'll start itching and just kind of, I like a good watch, right? But I'll put earrings and stuff like every now and then. But take care of your skin. Google and research African American dermatologists right? They understand your skin, right? Chemical peels, things like that. You got to find something that works best for you, because people who suffer with acne, that stuff is in your face, right? It's on your face. And that's like the first thing that people see. And so this is why, if you've ever been around a person who have like extreme acne, it's almost like they can't look you in their eyes. So it's almost like you know they're dealing with insecurity in that area, right? So just Google, if you do extensive research on YouTube, you'll get a lot of answers that is particularly for you. So skincare, hair care. Listen, this is major in our community, right? It's so easy to slap on a wig. I'm not a wig girl for several reasons. For one, I'm just too paranoid thinking when you're going to hit the certain weight, right? I'm a sew-in girl. It ain't coming out till I take it out, period, right? But also with wigs, there's too much pressure and stuff with that glue on your hairline, stuff like that. So even if you wear wigs, or even if you wear sew-ins, still take care of your hair under that. Like, still moisturize, still condition, still all that stuff under it. Because again, in our community, when we're sitting here taking care of everybody else, you mess around and have a wig or a sew-in in for 5 years, and you done got a whole spider web up under. Skincare and hair care is something that is important and a requirement for us to really start taking care of our bodies. There are so many other things that you can use that are not chemical based, but to just really help your skin and your hair. Because I mean, you know, when you look good, you feel good. I think I had skincare, hair care, working out, eating habits. Exfoliating is crucial too, because even when you're doing your skincare routines, if you don't exfoliate certain areas, like it's definitely like your feet and your hands and stuff, it's hard for whatever you're using for your skincare to even penetrate, because your skin is thicker on those areas. Perfume. Okay, well, we know perfume can be very expensive. My favorite perfumes, I'm not saying buy it, because let me just tell you something, right? It's Baccarat and Versace Blue. However, it's too costly. So those are not things that you wear every day. So go to Bath and Body Works, Victoria's Secret, wherever, and buy you a little $10 bottle spray. You may feel like, well, I'm going to save this spray until I'm going somewhere next weekend. No, spray it on you every day. The minute you start getting yourself prepared in the morning, spray it on you, right? Take it with you. When you get out the car, just spray it, right? Like, those scents just make you feel more feminine and make you feel more. And I know for some people, this is like, is completely to the left, because again, we're not used to taking care of ourselves. We're just used to going. I'm tired, I ain't got time. Right? When I get home, I'm just going to hop in the bed. Like, we ain't got time for all that, right? But you got to make time. Another thing I want to say really quickly, as it hits my spirit, I think one thing that's not spoke about a lot is the lack of self-care when it comes down to mental illness. A lot of people don't understand when it comes down to certain mental illness, especially depression. People really just don't have the energy to keep up with themselves. So it's not like they don't want to wash. It's not that they don't want to take care. There's just no energy to do so. So this is coming out because I had a gentleman who emailed me about this, and he was just, well, never mind. But be kind to people. Right? When you see people who may not smell the best or who may not look the best or whatever, because sometimes it can be a mental illness. I remember somebody telling me that she intentionally doesn't wash because she was molested. So she felt, this was years ago, she said that she felt like if she just allowed herself to get filthy and stinky and this and that, it will just repel men from her. And then I've heard other people say they just don't have the energy to do so, right? So if you're someone who deals with mental illness and you've been having people that really beat you up about, your lack of self-care and things like that, be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself, because mental illness is real. Mental illness is real. Trauma is real. And so some of these things affect how people see themselves and how they take care of themselves. So but to anybody, and you feel like God is really pressing upon you to start working on your confidence and stuff like that, he's pressing it upon you, then there's a good chance that God is about to open a door or some doors that's going to require you to be your best self. Again, not perfect. Again, not comparing yourself to anybody, but your best self. You guys have a great one. It's your girl, Kizzy Rock.